Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we just got done watching the Year 5 Season 1 reveal livestream for the Division 2. As per usual, these are the streams that the developers hold right before the launches of the new updates where we go over all of the new changes, and as usual, I have my notes and I'm going to go through everything you need to know that they announced. Of course, the focus of these streams is always the coming updates, so we have a lot of things to talk about with Season 1, but there are also some very key and very awesome details and teasers they gave us for what to expect into the future of Year 5, including, as the title says, the location of the Year 5 Season 4 DLC. So it's very exciting, let's get to it. Today, Daria and Morton joined us to discuss Year 5 Season 1 for the Division 2. The update goes live tomorrow on June 8th. It'll go live right after the usually scheduled maintenance time for the game, and the patch notes for the full update will be coming soon if they drop it while I'm making this video or when I post it. I will leave a link in the description below so that you can go and check them out for yourself. In this, they talk about the new season, the manhunt, the apparel event, they show the trailer off, they talk about some changes that have been made since PTS Phase 2, some quality of life things, and as I mentioned before, a few surprises. So they started off with an awesome story recap by NGN. We've got one of these on Division Day. It looks like the collaboration is continuing. Keep him going, love him. He talks about basically what happened in Season 11 in Year 4 and just the general setup for Year 5, so I won't play the audio here, but you'll see it in the background, and it was very cool. Then they got straight into Year 5 Season 1, which is titled Broken Wings, and the twist this time around is that for the manhunt, we are no longer hunting down targets, rather we are rescuing missing people that were kidnapped at the end of Season 11. So they played the trailer. The prime target this time around is going to be Mari Singh. She was the director of the aquarium that we played through during one of the classified assignments. And the sub-targets are going to be John, Ava, Lauren, and Mitchell. They showed off the roadmap, which showed all of the targets and all the different timings for the events and whatnot. They talked a bit about the manhunt rewards. You know, usually they used to put exotics behind the manhunts. Last season it was a vanity item, and the vanity items will continue. That's going to be the reward for the prime target. However, they said in addition, because it's no longer offering, you know, a new exotic or something that has a bit more importance to it, they are going to have kind of additional new unique apparel rewards that will be added throughout Year 5 apart from the prime manhunt target. They didn't give a ton of details as to where these are going to drop, how we're going to get them, but apparently throughout the year there will be some apparel surprises that we can pick up. They also talked a bit about the castle. We know from the Year 5 roadmap that Season 1 and 2 is going to feature a castle rebuild, and this is going to be tied straight into us rescuing these people. Basically, every time that we rescue a target in the manhunt, the castle will have a new section of it unlocked and a new one go under construction. I don't know if it's going to be an automatic thing or what the case might be, but as we rescue these people, we will be upgrading the castle's defenses, capabilities, facilities, and so that's going to be really awesome. They didn't really clarify if that is just visual or if the castle will have some increased amount of functionality and importance to our gameplay, but we'll find out. They talked about the rewards we can expect on the Year 5 Season 1 reward track, and there's some pretty awesome things. We have 9 new weapon skins, 10 new gear dyes, 3 new emotes. They're finally bringing emotes back. We used to get these every season back in Year 2, and they said they now have people on the team that can handle doing those new animations and things like that, so we have new emotes coming on the reward track. As usual, there will be 3 new patches, a vanity outfit. They're also adding in a Splinter Cell outfit in the reward track here, and at level 100, instead of a mask this time around, there's going to be a new helmet for us to collect. They also showed off the new apparel event coming in the season, which is called Escalation, and it is kind of inspired by a combination of SHD tech and Black Tusk stuff. And so it's a very tech-themed apparel event. It looks pretty darn cool. They showed us 5 different outfit previews, and I definitely like the kind of combination of tactical stuff with this kind of blend of technology. It's pretty neat. There will be the usual key acquisition for the event. You get 1 for every 4 SHD levels. You get a few free if you own the premium track, all of that usual stuff. So that was Season 1. They moved on to a few PTS results in talking about Descent. They said there have been some gear changes made since PTS Phase 2, and there will be further details on those in the patch notes, but the one big major one is that the Cavalier gear set, they basically tested 2 functionalities. One was in Phase 1, where it dealt with skill damage resistance, and Phase 2, where it dealt with all damage resistance. And the final version of it will be going back to the Phase 1 version of it, where it will give hazard protection to your entire team and skill damage resistance. I think this is going to be a much more balanced iteration, so I'm fine with them doing it that way, but that's what they went with. They kind of recapped the Descent changes that were made during Phase 2, so if you watched my videos back then, you kind of know what was all entailed there, but since then, they have made more difficulty adjustments after the Nemesis, making it even harder to go farther and farther. I'm completely happy with this. I think Descent should be a mode where at a certain point, you're really pushed to your exact limits to try and continue going, and it sounds like that's what they're trying to really make the mode entail, so I hope that really came true. Rewards have gotten another big overhaul. It sounds like there will be more XP awarded than we saw during the PTS, and they're now adding it in so that past seasonal named item blueprints are grindable in Descent. This is something that I've gotten a lot of questions on, people asking, well, if I didn't play seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, how do I get those blueprints? They're now adding those into the Descent loot pool. There'll be a new reconstructed cache that is designed to provide unobtainable items like those, and from the sounds of it, they will be adding to the reconstructed cache's pool as time goes on. They also briefly touched on the cosmetic rewards that they talked about for the leaderboards. Every 10 levels will grant you a new arm patch up to 40. Past 40, there won't be any more, but I think that changes every season, at least by their wording, so that should be pretty cool to go after. And overall, they just said keep the Descent feedback coming. They want to possibly make more changes to it further down the line in year 5. And Morton made the point of saying that now kind of every game mode seems to have its appeal, right? Summit offers Legendary, which has its own rewards. Countdown is the loot fest that everybody loves it for. And Descent will kind of be this blueprint grind if you want to get some of those older items or have that more infinite experience. And again, they said they will keep an eye on game modes in year 5 in general to see if they need further changes or additions, but they're kind of happy with the 3 that we now have in the game. They talked about some of the quality of life things that we saw on the PTS, but also some further details. The first one being we're getting a grants tab. This is going to help them with their grant delivery system a lot better. That's why some of the past ones that they've done have had issues because they didn't really have a dedicated system for it. This fixes that. And the best part is that tomorrow they will finally be delivering the Doctor Home that they promised people back in December, and it's coming with a brand new visual look. Just like the capacitor is getting a redesign, I showed that off during the Year 5 Season 1 PTS phases. The Doctor Home has a brand new design, and that will be waiting in your inbox when you sign in tomorrow when the update goes live. So that is fantastic. I was not a fan of how that gun looked, and I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like. They talked about the new quick grenade selection menu. You can hold down the grenade button and now choose between your specialization grenade and the concussion grenade. You can now mark apparel items as favorites so that they appear at the top of the selection. They're now directive selection for raids. You can put directives on there to increase the difficulty. Missions can be changed regardless of their world difficulty. So if you have heroic on your world, previously you couldn't set a main mission to anything below heroic. You now will be able to do that freely. Items will have a new denotion for if they are part of a loadout, so that's easier for you to kind of sort through your stuff, all of that. And there will be more items on quality of life in the patch notes for us to dive into. They also talked a bit about the XP revamp that we know is coming to the open world activities in the game. They said that since PTS Phase 2, they heard our feedback and they have buffed a lot of the values that we saw there. That's not to say that resource convoys aren't still being lowered, but they said across the board there is a 12% increase to activities in general. So if you average up every open world activity for the values that have changed, everything has gone up by 12%. They said that some activities that means now grant double the amount of experience compared to their current values in Season 11. And they said their goal with this is that they want people to just be able to farm one map, right? They don't want people to just go and get 3 convoys, reset their map, and go chase a few more, like that being the most efficient way. In their hope with this is that you will earn on average the exact same amount of experience if you just go to a territory control, run to the next closest thing, and keep going like that. We'll see if that pans out. I'm interested to see. They gave some updates on some very key aspects of the game, and they were very transparent about a lot of stuff, which I appreciated. The first was the specialization revamp, the thing that many people have been wondering about. I made a video a while ago about how it seemed like they weren't quite going in the same direction, and that is basically what they confirmed here. They said that for now, they basically had to set it aside as it conflicted with the endgame revamp plans that they have in Year 5 Season 4. They basically said that other changes are going to happen with specializations come Season 4, but it is not what that article back in 2021 originally outlined, so they kind of want to stop promoting that in any way. It's going to now all be tied into that endgame and seasons revamp that we get at the end of Year 5. And they kind of stressed that the ETF will be brought in early to test both of these specialization changes and Season 4's endgame changes overall. They then spent a good amount of time talking about cheaters, hackers, exploits, all of those things. There have been a lot more bans going on recently. They said they kind of confirmed the ban waves that a lot of people have been talking about. Those are more aggressive attempts on their part at taking out, people who cheat and hack and exploit in the game. They said that they are updating their tools behind the scenes to be able to enforce this even more and do better on that front. There are new automated systems that are going live tomorrow with Year 5 Season 1 to help them even more in that regard. And they said in the next 4 to 6 months, they plan to be even more equipped to be able to handle tackling, people who cheat and hack and exploit in the game. They stress that you should not worry about playing the regular game. A lot of people, if there's ever something new that comes out that has a lot of experience, people are like, well, I'm kind of worried to play it a lot. They stress do it, and they can tell behind the scenes if you actually intended to exploit this or if it was accidental. I will say that from my point of view in the past, they have said this and they have also banned people wrongly. So I hope moving forward they can be more certain about who is receiving punishment and who's not. But they reiterated, and I've tried to tell people this before, is that the devs can't deal out bans. Ubisoft support is the only one who has that power to do that to players' accounts. So continue to submit your reports to them, as that is the only and surefire way that you can hope to get somebody banned. And they said that using third-party software does get a ban on the first offense if that person is found and confirmed to be cheating. Someone who exploits in the game, let's say an XP farm or something like that, they get a second chance. The first one is just a warning. Maybe you get a week or two suspension, and then if you continue to do it once you're back, that is when they will deal out a ban to your account. So hopefully that gives people some hope and some clarity with the whole cheating, hacking, exploiting side of the game, and I certainly hope that we do see that continue to improve, especially for PvP. It is hugely important, so I hope that they can keep up on that. They talked about the countdown matchmaking bug, which has been a huge issue for a lot of people over the past weeks here. They said they think it happens if someone leaves or is kicked or whatever when the match is loading in, and that just causes the entire countdown round to bug out. They said they do have a fix for this going live tomorrow with Year 5 Season 1, so hopefully that resolves all of the countdown issues moving forward. Additionally, they shouted out that they are aware that there are some missing seasonal blueprints from Seasons 9, 10, and 11, and Season 3. I don't know why Season 3 is in there, but it is. They said for anyone who is missing them, starting with the update tomorrow, blueprints from Seasons 9 through 11 will be added to the control point loot pool, the same way that you obtained blueprints in the past, and that the Season 3 blueprints are delayed a little bit, but they are aiming to add those into that same loot pool come TU 18.1. Alright, moving on to the good stuff. We got some further details about the future Year 5 plans. Not a ton, but they did confirm right off the bat that the DLC that we are expecting in Year 5 Season 4 will indeed be in Brooklyn, New York. This was the most popular theory, and a lot of people suspected this after the teaser image that we saw in the roadmap showed is it the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge? Either way, they showed that off, and a lot of people thought, oh, well, that's Brooklyn, and they confirmed here, yes, it is indeed going to be in Brooklyn. No further details at this time, but I'm sure we'll have more to talk about that in future videos. They kind of recapped the roadmap that we got for Year 5 during Division Day. They talked a bit more about Year 5 Season 2's incursion, again, stressing the excellence of it, and again, that's coming from the people who made it, so obviously they're going to speak nicely on it. But I will reiterate once again, as I've said in past videos, that from what I've heard, this incursion is going to be really, really special. And they do say here that it feels more like a raid compared to the Division 1 incursion, so I can't wait to get my hands on that. They said that Season 3 is kind of going to be the big story moment of the year. There's a lot of great story in there. Again, that is something that we have heard previously. I talked about it in videos, and it is slower on actual content. It's mainly going to be about the story and the holiday event, because that is allowing the team and their resources to really prep for the massive update we're going to get in Season 4 with the DLC, with the endgame revamp with Seasons 2.0, so makes sense. And last off, they ended off with a quick Q&A with some questions in the chat. They said that there are no new plans for new raids. Incursions are the future of that type of content. Someone asked if the castle is going to be the new headquarters. They said that the White House is not going to go away, but there will be continued relevance added to the castle throughout Year 5. They are not going to add checkpoints to Descent. They say it goes against what their vision for the mode is, but if you do crash during a Descent run, your rewards are going to be secured and they will be added to your account for when you log back in, so that is very nice that they have that developed. They gave a shout out to the Conflict XP revamp that we know is coming in the update tomorrow. They still didn't give exact values on how that's going to play out, but I'm certainly very curious to see what that is going to be. They have no current plans to extend Descent's talent loot pool that you can acquire. Some people were asking about that, but again, they did say that it might be revisited at a later date. Right now, pretty much all hands are on deck for the DLC at the end of the year, so they keep talking about that DLC. I can't wait for it. Incursions will not be able to be soloed. They said it's just going to be too mechanically involved and challenging, so that makes sense. They have no new plans to add global events or, new global events to the game. Again, that is all tied into the Year 5 Season 4 stuff. They're going to be redesigning seasons in the endgame, so they said at this time it just wouldn't make sense to put resources into that when it's all going to change anyway. They said there are no current plans for a New York City Dark Zone, or at least they're not ready to talk about one at this time, though I don't think one is probably going to come. They did talk about PC crashes. They said all the time there are members joining the team who can help out with that issue, and they said that every week it is at the top of their priority list to follow up on and see if they can make improvements there. And lastly, somebody asked if the DLC is going to be paid or not, and they said a flat out no comment, so we're going to have to wait further on for confirmation there. I think it will be, but we'll see. My friends, that is the full breakdown for the Year 5 Season 1 reveal stream. Again, lots of clarifications, details on the update dropping tomorrow, which is super exciting, and we got those pretty fun teases about the DLC, and some nice updates on stuff like the spec revamp, hacking, exploiting, all that. So this is a very good stream in my opinion. Once again, patch notes are set to go live soon. I will leave a link for those down below once we get them, and I very much hope you enjoyed. If you did, a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to click that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of the latest Division content, including when I go live tomorrow morning with Year 5 Season 1. It's going to be a great time, so I hope to see you there. If you have any thoughts, questions, as always, comment them down below and I will do my best to respond. And that's going to do it for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Out.